this idea of dopamine is a neurochemical associated with pleasure. And there's two behaviors critical for human beings' survival, and that is food and sex. You have to get enough to eat in order to be able to sustain yourself, and you have to engage in enough sexual behavior so that you can pass on your genes and the whole process can start over again. So it's not surprising that food and sex are heavily reinforced. And the way the brain reinforces the body's behavior is by rewarding us with dopamine, which is the neurochemical associated with pleasure. So the more dopamine, the more pleasure. The more dopamine, the better the food tastes. And so you react to food in response to largely caloric density. The higher the caloric density, the more valuable it is in this environment of scarcity in which we evolved. And so the higher caloric density foods tend to be more reinforced, more dopamine, better tasting. So what we've done as humans, we're innovative creatures. We said, if a little good, a lot's better. Let's figure out a way to make the food taste even more special by increasing its caloric density. And we do that by adding things like oil and sugar to the food. And as a consequence, we like it better. And if that's what you get used to eating, that's all you like. And eventually people get to the point they really don't like the taste of simple, whole, natural foods anymore, because this hyper drug-like stimulating effect of the more concentrated foods is more appealing. So we literally become addicted. For example, if you want to neuroadapt to a lower salt or lower fat diet, it actually takes time. For example, sodium, people use on high sodium diet. It takes about a month on a low sodium diet for the average person to neuroadapt to a lower salt diet. With fat, it takes almost 3 months. It takes 3 months on a lower fat diet before that satiety mechanism that's used to being kicked in by the higher caloric density fat begins to adapt, and you will feel satisfied on a lower density food. So the fruits, the vegetables, or grains, legumes, you will now feel satisfied. Whereas initially you don't, because you're used to being satiated with these this high fat intake, and that can take months. And so it's a problem if you say to a person, well, look, you're going to eat this new diet, you're going to feel like crap, and you're not going to like it. But it'll only be a few months.
Right.
Adherence may be lagging. Whereas if you can make that process happen more quickly, the ability to get people to make dietary changes speeds up, and that's what we found with fasting. And sometimes that's a way of getting people to the point where good food tastes good more quickly.